Oh, darn.
All right, now I'll say you got a cool haircut.
Is that
Yes,
better?
yes, we're
Okay,
rolling.
cool. No problem. And I just needed a bucket to set my notebook on, so hopefully that will help. Front snap kick. This may seem like a silly question, only because it's foot position. What I'm used to with Kenpo Jitsu is for foot position with a front snap kick is feeder this way. My presumption is with a front snap kick, we're in a neutral bow, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, we'll fire those from a neutral.
Then it would just front snap kick is from here and then step back into the neutral bow.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, you can think of a couple different arguments for what to do with that front foot. Now, the pros for what you did, you left your front foot turned inward. You didn't change your front foot hardly at all while you executed that kick off the rear leg. And so I would say the pros to that are you're not telegraphing, right? You're not showing you're about to kick. And you're also doing a good job obscuring your groin and your center line by keeping your knee turned inward. I would say a drawback might be not maximizing power, right? If you're really committing to that kick, you're kicking and planting back. The hip commitment, the body mass behind it maybe isn't there. So then to look the other way and maximize power, but sacrifice on the other points I made, you could think about, I call it opening the gate. Instead of having your front foot turned inward, yes, open it, not even just straight, but even turn it out on a 45-degree angle. And then execute the kick. So like there, your toes are pointing towards 1030 or 130. Now you can point them to 1030. Yeah. So not
You
a
would
full,
turn it out quite a ways.
yes, exactly. Yeah, like that. So now widen your or open your stance a little bit. Your rear foot, you're more like an aside horse relative to me. So start in a solid neutral bow. So yes, I can see your rear foot. There we go. Now turn that front foot, open it as much as you can comfortably there, given the knees. That's, yes, I would turn it that far and then fire the front kick. And the reason for that is, yes, if you go to plant forward, your front foot now is in the perfect position to be your rear foot. And you've got all that hip commitment. So like think thrusting salute. In that that's an orange belt technique, but in that technique, it's a rear kick stepping through, and you're anticipating the commitment you're going to have in that kick, and then planting through with it. And so you're opening that foot. Now, but here you might be thinking delayed sword, but delayed sword is a lead leg kick. So it's
true. Yeah. I was thinking about that too, because it's like, well, would that be the same thing? Because delayed sword comes back and I'm kind of doing the same thing, but no, I'm reversing the whole process. And so I come back, I post back on this.
Right.
I always, a little bit, I'll get that question here in a minute. So when executing a front snap kick from here,
that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. And like I said, you can argue it both ways. When I watch, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but the few times I've watched Ultimate Fighting Championships, I see lots of people do this. They open that front foot, whether they're getting ready for a big roundhouse kick or they're getting ready for a front kick or whatever that rear leg coming through is. When they want power, when they're thinking, I don't care if you see this coming, I'm still going to break your rib cage, right? Like they just open that foot and it's like a shotgun blast. So
well, I know when I do a round kick, when I've done some of those, I really can open that up and I can get that hip torque into it and strike hard. I can get a good hard kick, but that's actually a lot easier to do coming around this way. And it still wants to tweak that hip some, but it's coming better, so I'm less worried about it. And this coming from here, I have to remember that my neutral bow has to be here, not here. That's my own fault.
Yes, that
coming from here.
Yes, yeah, that looks very sharp.
I have to remember it's here for whatever reason, and I think this is just bad habit I've developed. I wanted to be here, and I know this is not a neutral bow. I have to be out here farther.
Yeah, there's a little wiggle room to it. And I like the more open version, the second one that you showed there, because that rear foot now is accessible. It's just that much more. It's got a line of sight to the target, right? When your stance is more narrow or almost like a side horse stance, I mean, you're not fully closed off, but you're kind of almost obscuring your rear foot with your front foot.
It feels like a balance issue too, especially if I'm trying to do anything, any decent maneuvering. I'm
Mhm.
already off center here, and this is just an observation that I have to develop. I can move toward my target this way. If I'm here, my target shifts.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to do it this way, I have to try and walk like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it just
Exactly.
feels off balance. So I have to remember to get my line through here, get those feet separated so my neutral bow is correct.
Yeah.
Because that actually works out too. When I'm working on, I remember one of the step drills that you had shown to come this way and then work uh the uh the twist step. There you go, the twist step. And to work this, I don't, if I get too close to it, I become off balance.
Yeah. Yeah. The twist stance is
Stance,
a
thank you.
is a more formalized version. But when it actually comes time to fire that front kick, we don't have to go all the way to a twist, but you just really all you need to do is open that foot like you were doing. So like if I show with my feet the formal twist stance, which I kind of find myself shying away from in some instances here. So like I wouldn't want to go all the way if I do it from a side view. I don't want my rear heel to come off the ground before I fire like that. So this would be the formal twist stance. All I really want to do is just open that front foot. So if we were in a ballet class, they would call this fourth position in ballet.
Okay.
Open that front foot and fire. So from a side view, open and fire. And it doesn't have to be all the way sideways. Like here, I've got my feet pointed towards 9 and 3. It can just open with the toes towards 130. But it gives you stability, it gives you power and follow through. So that looks pretty good.
Now I have to be careful how far back I come because I think I can get too wide with my neutral bow. I wind up coming back way too far. And then I'm in a more like a traditional horse stance, really wide, very set, but less maneuverable. I got to be here so I
Yeah,
can.
I was gonna say that looks good. I think you're a tall guy, and so that stance looks good for you. When I watch old videos of myself, my stances are sometimes too narrow. I'm a little too casual, like I'm just hanging out. So you do want to find that sweet spot, not too deep, but not too shallow either.
Okay. So with a good snap kick, 1030, come up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If you're planting back, you've got to readjust the foot. If you're planting forward, then you just commit your body weight to it, and you're there.
It's actually good for the balance.
Now,
It'd almost be good just to come up that way. Yes, sir.
The last couple kicks you did, it looked like your knee was going off on an angle. See if you can fire that kick straight towards the camera lens here at me. Yeah, that looks good.
Still things to work on, just with the balance.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I've come back from having the surgery, balance can still be an issue. This is still very much better than I've been for a long time. So I catch myself almost coming, my center of gravity coming really high. Am I too high? No, I know. Mass. I got to drop weight.
How about we keep them all step through kicks? So don't worry about kicking and then trying to plant back, because that can create kind of a challenge in the stabilizer muscles in the leg and the body. So you're accelerating your mass forward anyways. Just keep it going and step through.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the natural thing to do. I can think of one technique, clutching feathers, where we kick and step back. But I would say for the most part, we kick and step through, because that's where, you've thrown your mass in that direction anyways. Just, it's hard to like stop it all and pull it back. You could, if you know ahead of time that you want to plant back, just don't throw your weight forward. You're going to shift your foot. You're going to come up to the chamber, but don't really accelerate. It's just, you're just sort of staying in position. So let's try a couple more with the right foot, and we're going to plant back. But as you bring that leg up, just don't accelerate your body so much. Just kind of lift the leg and think about where you are. Yeah. And now see if you can just, rather than chamber, kick, re-chamber down, I just want you to go kick and down. Connect all the dots for me. Yeah, there we go. That looks really good. Now, for conditioning purposes, it is great to hold everything like you were doing, but I wanted to just see once or twice here, see you connect the dots, and those look really good.
I get better at it, and like I say, balance with, as long as the healing's happening. I've still got another 6 months before my year's up with this new knee, but the balance has become so much better. So I'm very encouraged by it. Okay.
Good. Let's do a few now where we do pause at the chamber, and we do hold the extension, and we do pause at the re-chamber, just to make sure that we've got all the conditioning and control there.
That's hard. That's harder than I thought. And I still want to be narrow with this.
Do this for me. Only do what I say. Ready? So you're in your on guard position. You're going to open the gate, which means turn your foot. Very slowly lift your rear leg up into the chamber. Hold it, hold it. Extend and hold the foot in the kick. Extend and hold it. Hold it, hold it. Re-chamber and hold it. Hold the re-chamber, hold it, hold it. Now, as slowly as you can, put it back where it came from. Yeah. So that's the exercise. That's your warm-up.
Okay.
That's your conditioning. And then only after you've done a few reps of that and you feel like you got some value out of it, then you can think about snapping the kicks and, putting some gusto on the moves.
Okay.
Every time I go out to practice, I start with that right there, which is a very slow front kick. And then I do very slow wheel kicks, very slow side kicks, very slow roundhouse kicks, but that's slow. Very slow up to the chamber and hold. Here, I'll just do it here so you can see. So every practice, I start like this. So that's the right side. I'm switching the hands because I'm doing a step through. So everything is about control here. I know that the power will come because of the way I'm turning my hips and my feet. But to warm up, make sure all the gears are lubricated, so to speak here, it's that slow, even slower. So that looks really good.
Okay.
Let's.
That will be my warm up for a while, because I think that's the more my legs are strong. It's right around the joints, and especially the ankles, where I'm noticing those muscles are firing, but it still wants to hurt a little bit. So I'm still weak there. So I have to do that. So that's going to be my warm ups for a while.
Yeah.
Well, and you say it's always your warm up, so I will continue. Yes.
Great.
And you have this and you're recording this. So I'm going to review that. So I write it down. Okay. Excellent. What's next? Or do you want me to do some more of these?
No, it's totally up to you. If you wanted to work through all the kicks, we can move on to rear snap kick, side snap kick, and the like, or anything else.
Actually, the forms I'm okay with. Since we've worked on the balance, it sounds like the balance is going to be more my nemesis rather than the form itself.
Okay.
If I'm understanding things. So it might be wise. Can we just go through the primary forms then?
Sure.
Okay, I think that would be good. I believe I have those pretty decent. Delayed sword, though, and don't ask me why, I always feel like as I go through it, I feel really clunky every time I do it. And I know there's places in it, they're decision points. So when you step back, there's the first one. You know, you come back, snap kick, and come down. But it's just every time I do this and I get that hip rotation and make the snap kick and try to get the step through, but I always feel really clunky and I never feel very fluid in it. And I watch you and it looks great. So it's like trying to golf and be Tiger Woods.
I'll see here if I've got a tip or two for you.
Okay. Because this one, funny enough, I like this block. I've actually used this block on other things almost instinctively. Somebody will come up and they're just joking, and I just come up, and this block is instinctive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So it's here because I can get a good block with it.
That didn't look too bad. I do have a couple tips for you. The first one is the angle that you think about with the block. Now, the angle of your arm is perfect. It's not here and it's not here, but it's here. That's great. But I don't want this to travel so much in a horizontal rotation. I want it to come from your eyebrow, and I want you to think about sinking. So when I do this technique, it's not about rotating the opponent's arm off of me. I think about dropping straight down on his arm. Now, my forearm is at an angle, but the delivery is very much down. And so that really maximizes my power. But the other thing it does is it makes sure that my rear shoulder doesn't over rotate. I'm going to do the rotational way. So if I block across this way, do you see how I've overturned? My rear hand is back here somewhere, and it's hard to see. And now when I come back for this front kick, I really have to correct and turn my body back. And so it's a lot of this happening.
Okay.
So instead, what I want to do is only turn a little bit. I'm striking down, kick, and chop.
Oh.
Although I've turned my center line away, it's not a big turn out this way. Only it's a big turn this way. You know, only to come back with a chop. So try to minimize the rotation and just have it think forward and down. So it's down, forward, forward.
This may sound silly, but I think I understand what I'm doing, because as I turn, my aim winds up here for where my arm's going. I should aim there. For when I hit, I want the arm to go back that way.
Yeah. So do this
if I'm kind of understanding it.
Yeah, I would aim for the arm to go down.
Down.
So
Right.
so put your hand up to your eyebrow. Yes. Your wrist should remain higher than your elbow. So lift your wrist a little bit at the finish of your block. When you finish your block.
Right.
Yes, right. That's perfect. Boom. You're striking down, but don't try not to let your wrist get as low as your elbow. You want to keep your wrist up a little bit. And the reason is this. Here, I'll do it wrong so you can see what I'm arguing against here. So what I don't want to see is, you see how I've let my wrist get so low?
Okay.
I want my wrist to stay above, because I may need it here for his, like if he's grabbing with one hand, he's coming in with a big haymaker or something on the other side. So if I strike, I need this ready for his other hand. And if I've overcommitted and I'm down here, it's just going to take too long to get back up and guard my head. So the wrist is above the elbow, but the angle of, or the direction that the arm travels, you want to think of it as being very much down. Yes.
So in reality, you're checking your strike, correct? You're stop. You're not. There's no follow through.
Well, there is as much follow through as you can offer. Yeah, I don't want you to bounce. So yeah, maybe I gave the wrong impression there. So I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want you to tap his arm. It would look like this. So it's full commitment to the downward block.
Okay.
So there's no bouncing. But then if immediately I need to, I can go that way. But for the standard issue, it's going to be block, kick, chop.
Okay. But it's not.
Yes. Yeah.
This is not the end all to it. Okay.
Right. You keep that 90-degree bend in your elbow because, well, for one thing, it becomes your chop, right? After that block, you want your hand ready to go for that chop. Yes, if you've overcommitted and you throw your hand down to your waist, then you have to pick it up to do the chop. But we don't want that extra pickup. So you're going to block, and your hand is already pretty much at your ear, ready to chop. Do you see there how you threw it down and picked it up? We don't want to throw it down only to pick it up. So yes, right there. And then just open your hand and you're ready to chop. So yeah, so it's not so much a glancing blow.
Because it's here. Because it's to a lapel grab.
Yeah, so if I do it from a side view, I definitely don't want to throw my hand down, because then I have to pick it up again to chop. And I don't want to just sort of scrape his arm. But if this stick is his arm, I want to destroy the arm, but now my hand is open, ready to chop. So there's not a whole lot of preparation or extra swing that is needed.
My strike is fairly close to my body. I'm actually striking fairly close to the wrist into the forearm, right?
Yes, which actually, yeah, no, but I wouldn't hug it if I go from
No.
Yeah, don't bring it in like you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance, because then you're scraping his arm. You want to drive through his arm, perpendicular to it. Think about shattering his radial bone or his radius.
Okay. I think that was part of my problem. I'm trying to aim too far this way.
Oh, I think that looks good. No. I think I like. No, I feel like you're scraping now. I feel like you're coming in and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Make sure that it is sort of here. If I just a side view again. So you can see if this is my 12, my arm is pointing towards my 1030, but I'm not trying to shoot it towards 1030. I'm not doing this. I'm throwing the arm down but it's pointed towards 1030. What I don't want the student to do is to like scrape his arm. Do you see how I kind of myself or saying the Pledge of Allegiance? That's not the motion. The motion is straight down on his arm. Boom, like this. Just like, I mean, just imagine you're swinging a hammer. It's as natural as swinging a hammer. Yeah.
Because if this were that, should be here.
Yes, as perpendicular as you can get in every. If you think of a gradient, right, the multivariate partial derivative, you want it perpendicular from all perspectives. That your arm against his.
Darn, don't start doing math on me. I was terrible at math.
Well, don't ask me to actually do it, but we can just kind of wave our hands a little bit and think about it.
These are not the droids you were looking for. Okay.
That's right. There it is. That looks great.
I want this check here. I want this check here for sure.
Yes. Now, as for the rear hand, the checking hand, you want that to be close to your body. So I'll show you what not to do. Don't. You see how my check is out beyond? You want it just inside your lead elbow by your solar plexus. That looks good.
Just ward off anything coming up.
Yeah. And yeah, go for it.
Sure, because it's and I still, every time I do that, I still want to come back around like this. And I know this is sort of destruction. I know it is, but every time I want to come this way. Because it's the lapel grab here.
Yeah, that's not bad. The only thing I would say is that you're losing that 90-degree bend in your elbow, and your arm is starting to swing a little bit. It's not terrible. If I'm going to be honest, for a long time I used to do it that way. I thought that kind of letting it be circular, almost like I'm swinging a nunchuck or a flail that has a chain and with a ball and spikes, kind of let that round the circle a little bit around the corner and come in, you know.
Quick.
Yeah, you could make an argument for it, but after all the years I've been doing it, I felt that I ended up like not delivering as much power to his arm as I could, because the whole point of that inward block is to just obliterate his forearm and to get him to let go. And as soon as I start rounding the corners, I end up not being, remember we were talking about the gradient perpendicular, I end up not meeting his arm perpendicular because I'm kind of reaching out a little too long. I hit higher up on the forearm, and then I'm scraping down his arm because I want to round that corner into the chop. And I realized I didn't get him to let go. All I did was give him like an arm massage before I tried the front kick. And so what I want is, I want to empty my mind, and I want to say, look, this is not a race. I'm not trying to do step 1, step 2, step 3 in as quick succession as I can. There should only be step 1. Step 1 should be so powerful that steps 2 and 3 are redundant and you can ignore them. So if I come in here and I think I am going to destroy your arm, suddenly I don't care about rounding the corner anymore. I'm coming in perpendicular. Okay. And I'm keeping that 90-degree bend. And his arm is just shattered in so many pieces that the rest of the move is over. And it's like Mr. Miyagi, and Daniel sounds like, what? That's it? Just the one hit? But that's all you need is the one hit. So let's see it one more time and try not to round the corner. There's no race to the finish. It's empty your mind. It's like Zen. And the only thing, like Neo in the Matrix, he would say there is no spoon, but we'll invert it and we'll say there is only the inward block. And that's it. The rest of the world vanishes. There is only the inward block. So let's see that. Yeah, that's perfect right there. That's it. The only tip I would give to that is when you finish with your chop, try to not be too much in a side horse, but make sure you land that more in a neutral. But everything about that was beautiful. The commitment, the focus, it was perfect.
I have to remember to get that ki. We call it ki.
Yeah.
I got to get that in there. That's important. It's amazingly important.
Yes.
Okay. And there's no, that's, I catch myself, like you said, wanting to, get one right after the other quickly. And that's the first move. That's the first decision point. And it's the decision point for him, not for me in that respect. Is he going to want to continue after I blow his arm up? Bam. If he's going to fight, bam, bam. Okay.
Yeah. I would say it's a decision point for you both. You
Yes,
may not.
it is.
You
It
may
is.
not. Yeah. Now, did you want to look at the opposite side at all, or did you want to move on to other moves? I'm happy either way.
No, let's go ahead and do both sides. It's good to practice both sides, so we can do that real quick, and then we can hit the next ones.
Okay.
All right. So from here, he's got right side.
Yes. Now, with the chop, realize he started off close. You kicked him in the groin, so he may stagger a bit, but you've got borrowed reach. He's bending over. So don't feel the need to reach very long with that chop. The chop, yeah, like I keep just a slight bend in my elbow the whole way, and I kind of let my shoulder do most of the work. I mean, there is some elbow extension, but here, if I show you what I'm talking about. So we're doing the left side now. So you've got this amazing block, the kick. Don't think about letting the arm, and I'm exaggerating here, but don't worry about the arm being so long, because you may be focusing through the fingertips, like thinking, oh, he's so far away from me. But he is like right here. He threw up on your knee basically after that groin kick. And so you can see
Okay.
I've got when I deliver the chop, I don't keep my hand perfectly straight, but I kind of angle my wrist a little bit because I want to hit with that meaty portion, not the actual wrist bone, but this meaty portion right above it. I want that to connect to his neck. And yes, there's a little bit of elbow extension, but I don't want it out here because it's going to feel weak. I want to keep a little bend, and it's mostly the shoulder joint, the latissimus, and the rear delt that is execute just like you would swing an axe. You get it overhead, or a two-handed weapon. You're gonna swing it this way. You're not necessarily gonna go locked elbows, right? At any point, you're always gonna keep a little bend in that elbow, and it's mostly gonna be the arm swinging through the shoulder. So try that one more time here on the left, and really imagine your arm as a weapon.
Okay, so he's got me here.
Yes. Now I would refrain from this.
Snapback.
And now this comes to me after really focusing on the board breaking. With the board break, if you imagine the board set up in front of you, if you do that, it won't break, right? You'll hit the surface, right. You'll hurt your hand, but then you'll have no result. In order to break that board, it's through and nowhere else.
Gotta go.
Yeah. So
that
just
was,
keep
that was an error.
Yeah. So keep that soft or slight bend in the elbow, but it's all the way through. Yeah, that looks really good. Yes, that looks very good.
Okay. Oh, we could do sort of destruction. I'm actually less worried in many respects about like grasp of death or capture twigs. Those are actually very straightforward. And between grasp of death and locking horns, those two are really so similar. I like them both. And actually, I was working on that with a partner yesterday, and they just come very naturally. So it was really great to get up in there and then get the arm bar to those, because we were actually working on arm bars with the other form Friday, and so it was good to work on that arm bar and to get that, because I figured out with the arm bar itself, especially showing someone who's brand new to it, how to figure out where that nerve cluster is easily, because I figured out if you run your flat of your hand right on the point of that elbow and then lift, it's right there. I mean, it's dead on right there to any size hand. So if they happen to miss it and they just go flat and they forget it, just push. But if you remember it, lift your hand and roll, and it works. So, but those two I'm less worried about. But Sword of Destruction, especially coming from behind, that's another one very similar to. Oh, are you delayed sword? Wow, brain flatulence. That I wind up feeling just a little clunky with for some reason or other, but it must be the same issue that I have with delayed sword.
It could be, yeah. So delayed sword by the end there was looking really nice because we weren't rotating too much. I would say the same thing is true with Sword of Destruction. If we think about it here as a defense against a shoulder grab, so if my bad guy here is in the camera, I am rotating, but only so much that my shoulders basically square up to the opponent, and then everything is straight.
Because it's a left arm, right shoulder, because it's a look.
Yes. Oh, but
why am I?
Have your left foot step to 130.
Wow, why am I having a complete brain cramp on this? Because
there we go. That's it. And your right arm is going to knock his grab off there.
Oh, there we go. Jeez. Yeah. Because it's a check here, and it's an outward, extended outward block.
Yep.
My apologies. That looked terrible. Oh, darn. Okay, so because I always remember you want to look so you don't whack grandma saying, "Hey, Sonny, can you help me?" Sorry. Acting for your students.
Yes.
Because then it's smash that aside. Because then I always feel like I chamber funny here. Because it's the kick here that I always goof up. Because then I remember it's this one. This is the one comes this way.
That's right. Yeah,
but I would just feel like I chamber funny.
Oh, well, so what's helped me make this technique feel really good is to not emphasize the cat stance in any way, just to go from the neutral bow to a chamber. And the cat stance is technically in there because at some point I had to lift my heel off the ground, but I'm not making it a point. I'm not saying neutral bow cat stance chamber. I'm just, in my mind, I'm saying neutral bow chamber. So neutral bow chamber, yes, that's it. And now from the side angle perspective that I have, your stance looked a little narrow, like more of a side horse relative to your opponent. So think
probably
about,
did.
So instead of stepping to 130, maybe think about stepping more to 2 o'clock or 2:30. Yeah.
A little further, a little further out.
A little further out. Yes, there you go. So that relative to your opponent, your stance doesn't feel long. If you step towards 1 or 130, your stance might feel kind of, that looks great. And then right from there, just continue shifting your weight onto that left. Boom. The right foot just wants to lift because you're taking that step onto the left and the weight transfer is happening anyways. So just lift the right and kick it without hesitation.
So from here, don't sweat the drag back quite so much. Don't sweat that. Just bam.
Just get it up there. Yep. It's just 1, 2, 3. Step, kick, chop.
Okay. So in many respects, if I'm understanding things, shatter the hand here, basically tap him in the groin, because if we're just lifting and kicking, there's not a ton of damage being done, but we're intending to double him up. We're intending to create distance by shrinking his size.
That's right. Yeah, it won't be the thrust kick like thrusting salute, but it'll be enough to stop him. Yeah.
Okay. It helps understand that I don't need to sweat putting a huge amount of emphasis onto the kick, because I know if I'm gonna really crush something, I want a chamber so that I can come back and snap hard. If all I'm doing is from here, bam, just to get my foot up so I can get merge of gravity into something, this is the one that it's gonna get.
Oh, yes. Well, so I guess the point I was making was we don't have a whole lot of backup mass on this kick, but I do want you to snap. That's where you're getting your power.
Right.
So,
Right.
so
but it's not going to be as crushing as if I cock all the way back and chamber it.
Right.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, what I don't want it to be is this. Well, I'll put my bad guy over here. So we've got a block. I don't want it to be this. This is wrong. Do you see what I'm doing here?
Right.
I still want my weight to come back on my left foot. And I still want an amazing snap. But what I don't want you to do, I don't want you to go neutral bow, cat stance, chamber. Like we're taking too long, right? So you're gonna go neutral, kick, chop. So there's still a weight transfer. There's still a solid chamber, re-chamber, but we're just not going to emphasize sitting around in a cat stance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta here it's just going to be that, just getting to work that. It's that first here, and making sure that foot's in the correct spot, because it's orientation. Because if they're immediately behind me, well, it doesn't matter, because they're coming up left-handed. I still have to come back.
Yeah, and I think what helps is visualizing, if without a partner here, visualizing just how close the opponent is. When he reaches out to grab, he's really not a mile away, because his elbow is going to be bent. No, he's not going to reach you like you're a stinky something and he doesn't want to get close to you, right? He's coming in close because he's got a full grab on your shoulder. His elbow is bent, so he's right up on you. And if you take that step not too deeply, you're going to maintain a very close distance. So that front kick is not a long reach. Yeah, so you can take that, allow your weight to shift back on the left, so you have a really good chamber, you have a really good snap to that kick, and he's not far away, not too far. So just visualize him being close.
We'll use him.
I would start him even closer. Yeah, he's right
there
about
there.
Yep.
Okay. So if I come up here.
Exactly.
And I actually kicked him once. Okay. Because he would be essentially directly behind me. Is that kind of how the thought process is with the scenario setup?
He's anywhere from your 5 o'clock to your 4 o'clock to even your 3:30. Like he's anywhere in that obscure zone. He may have approached you from the side. He maybe really tried to sneak up on you, and he's got a hand on your shoulder. And he may almost be to the point where his free hand, his right hand, is hugging your bicep. You can imagine someone coming up and doing a shoulder grab and an arm hug. So he's close. His chest, you can maybe get closer to that bag, and such that like he's almost got his chest on your elbow, and so you're sensing him. He's up on you. He's trying to hug you, grab you, whatever it is. But you turn, look, and you step out before he really sinks anything on you. And that block is just to say, get it all off me. Get off my shoulder. Get off my bicep. boom, he's up on you there, and that front kick. Oh, now you stepped kind of far. Bring that. Yeah, that left foot, I would have stepped more towards 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock, but that's the idea. Yeah.
I realized I had shallowed that up quite a ways. But I'm understanding what you're talking about now, because he's in essentially my blind spot. Like you're driving a car, he's in my blind spot. He's right here where I can't see. He's out of my periphery. Okay. And yeah, because I was thinking about that. Yeah, he's got a hold of my shoulder and my arm here, correct? Like what you were talking about. Somebody's trying to control that side.
Well, so if he really is hugging that bicep tight, we have a brown belt move for that called grasping eagles. Or there's another one that I'm blanking on the name, Marriage of the Rams. That's it. And so our follow-up will be a little different. If he's really hugging that arm, you're not going to be able to lift it if he's got the full hug. But here, what I'm saying is that's kind of the direction he's headed. His presence is behind you. He's got a hand on his shoulder. His other hand might be starting to snake around, and you're just saying, "Hey, man, get off," and you're blocking. Boom! There it is.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that front kick looked really good. You were within range to really make it effective there against that bag.
I have to be a little more deliberate with my foot placement. I'm not as good with it. I'm kind of flopping it, and that's my fault. So,
well, here's a tip for you on all of it. Try to bend your knees a little bit and stick your butt out like you're doing a squat in the gym. You don't have to get really deep, but that's kind of the if you can have a, like when people are exercising in the gym and they're getting ready to do squats, right? You don't want to squat like Steve Urkel, right? And I'm exaggerating here. You didn't look like Steve Urkel, but I'm just making a point. You want to, if I'm going to exaggerate, you want to really pop the booty, right?
Yeah.
You're going to that squat. Well, the same thing here. When I'm stepping out for this block, I'm thinking, or if I'll go this way so you can see my. I'm thinking about doing a squat here, and that really helps with balance. So give that a try and think about popping your booty a little bit.
Sure.
Yes, that looked amazing.
Left side. I freely admit I work on this on the other side too. Going the other way, for whatever reason, I am terrible at. No matter how I work at this, I am terrible at it.
Oh,
I wish I could explain why.
Well, let's only have positive affirmations here, so that we don't give ourselves an uphill battle.
Oh no, it's just something I got to work on. So
yeah,
because I just have to get that established, because I'm my footwork I need to work on. So, and then of course I've got that in the way. Move my bag.
Now make sure that right foot is going. Aim for 10 o'clock. Don't aim for 11 or 11:30. Aim for like 9:30 or 10. Yeah, bring it even more. If we want to call it around the circle. Yeah.
So from here, he's got this shoulder.
Yep.
Oops, I got to get out because it's an outward block. It's not here. It's here.
Yes, that looks a lot better.
And I thought, wow, I thought I was closer than that with him. That's interesting. There we go.
Well, now that rear foot looks kind of long to me. Can you make that first step a little more shallow?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
That's still, huh?
Yeah, if I go back to my comparison to squats in the gym, there are different squatting techniques, and one is to have the feet right under the hips and shoulders as you squat, so not a very wide stance. And So I think this technique is an example where when he's grabbing the shoulder and we step out, I'm not quite in that narrow of a stance, but I'm also not like what we were talking about earlier, like a traditional horse stance. I want this to be, I would say, just a little wider than the hips when I step out. I'm really thinking about focusing my weight down as I block, but my stance is short. That way I'm maximizing the reach of that front kick. If I take that wide, deep stance, now when I shift my weight, I'm pulling that leg out of range, and it feels like a long reach. So make your very first step kind of shallow, deep but shallow, and pop your booty. Yes. And now you're ready for the front kick.
Oh, I know what I was doing. I was trying to essentially do a front reap. I was swinging it this way instead of just stepping. That's my problem.
Yes. Oh, man, that looks amazing. Oh, inward chop.
Outward with this one.
Yeah. Now, what helps me is to really visualize. There's a lot to think of, right? Right now, you're focused all on yourself. Once the details become that much more familiar, really start visualizing the opponent, because that will tell you, it'll be obvious. Oh, I should be doing an inward chop because clearly he's got his right foot forward and his hips are turned away from me. And when he bends over, it's this side of his neck that needs hitting. If you were to throw the outward chop, you hit him on the top of the head. But if you throw the inward chop, you'll hit him on the neck. So as you get comfortable with yourself, start really visualizing the opponent, and then it becomes obvious what chop is needed.
Okay. Let me do this a couple more times. So I think I figured out my step problem, which, funny enough, was a simple fix.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this shoulder. Yeah.
Yep. So now you can argue it a couple ways. If you want to focus on yourself and not the opponent, argue it with a economy of motion. You've done the outward block. If you just open your hand, you know your musculature is primed for that inward chop. So let's do it one more time here and just think economy of motion.
Because I have to remember to get this check here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Now, the other thing that helps me is going back to that idea of there is only the block, and I'm not worried about kick and chop. And then after the block, I say there is only the kick. And only after the kick is done do I say there is only the chop. So, so not that I would necessarily execute it that slowly in reality, but as I'm training it, I want to empty my mind of all else so that full commitment to each strike. So let's see it one more time here.
Sure.
Yes, that looks very good. Yep.
That felt better.
Mm-hmm. It looked really good.
Well, I hadn't even considered using my workout sandbag for that, but I'm glad you were here, buddy. One more time, and then we can go to. I don't even have my watch in. I'm not even sure what time it is.
5:35 Eastern.
Oh, wow. We've been at it an hour. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I won.
That's great.
Okay. Okay. That step's gonna come better as long as I step correctly. That makes more sense. I'm not dragging like I was. Some reason I thought I had to come around and drag, and I just got to step. It's some of them dumb things. That's because a lot of times, like in Kenpo Jitsu, we do a lot of a drag step, a spinning drag step or something like that. And I don't need to do that. Okay. What do you need to do? What do you have time for?
Well, I say we look at grasp of death because you mentioned the arm bar, and it sounds like the application that you use in your other martial art is a little different than the application that I showed in my video. And you're welcome to choose whichever one you want. I wanted us to talk about using the bottom 2 inches of your forearm against his elbow. And I like that because it doesn't rely on my tricep strength. In the past, I used to do all my arm bars with the heel of my palm or the chop against his elbow joint. And I realized that kind of like doing a push-up, you can't really see my arm here, but I'm
Sure.
extending with the tricep to make that work. And so there's kind of 2 pieces to it. When I use this part, I can basically just relax my arm and use this as a fulcrum. And it's really just body weight sort of leaning into it. So let's try grasp of death here a couple times, and we can think about either one of those ways of applying an armbar.
Sure, because grasp of death is if he's right here and he's got my head this direction, because he's up in front of me, but we're both facing the same way because it's here because I've got it locked this way. Reach up, basically I got this, step in, knock the knee out, then reach around because then I can get the armbar here, rotating down, and then knee strike to it. Then I can cover out.
That looks really good. The only thing that I would comment on, and maybe in the end it doesn't even matter, I noticed that given the setup where you had the opponent, you stepped forward with your left leg. And the way that the way that Parker taught it, the way that I've always been doing it is to step forward with the right leg. So thinking more of a right close kneel. Your left knee is still going after his knee, but I wonder if it could work either way. But I think if he's like right up on top of you with that arm bar or with that headlock, you may not be able to get a lot of forward movement with that left leg because your knee is basically already behind his knee. And so it's your right leg that only has the room to step. So try it one more time here and think about stepping with the right foot.
Okay. Wow, I don't know why I was thinking to knock the leg out. No problem. That was my mess up. I apologize. Because he's got me here, so it's because then once I get underneath, grab him, or simply hammer fist straight up, peel around, armbar straight down.
Yeah, yeah, that looks great. And you're still focusing with that left knee against the back of his right knee. So that part is very much the same. I guess it's just whichever foot leaves the ground to step. If your left foot is already close to his right leg, then maybe your right foot would step. If he's got you in the headlock, but your legs are far away from his, maybe you do want to step in with that left to make sure that you connect. Like, I'm just trying to justify your step there. So like if I'm in the headlock and this is his knee and my leg is already kind of behind his leg, I don't have a lot of place to step, right? So I'll step out with the right and this left knee is going to collapse on his leg and disturb his balance. But if I'm in the headlock and for some reason I'm out like this, right? I really do have to step, don't I? If I'm going to attack that knee, I kind of have to go for it. So it sort of depends on where your leg is relative to his when you start.
Okay. Because I think with this one, I had something mixed up there, and that was why I wanted to review. So, no, no big. Because with locking horns, coming the other way, it's because I need to block.
Which
Okay,
arm?
so here.
Yeah, which arm of his are you visualizing? Is it still his right arm around your head?
I believe so. Yes, because here I have to turn. Because if he's got his right, I have to turn right. Because it's a block here, and
yeah, I would step in with your right leg and use a right reverse hand sword. Yes, like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because that's right. Because it was about three things all at once.
Three things all at once, and I see the similarity you're drawing now. You wanted it to be the same, right? You wanted it to be if he's in front of you, step with the right, strike with the right. If he's beside you, step with the right, strike with the right.
Yeah.
But it's not quite that similar. If he's in front and he's grabbing with his right, it's the right leg and the right hand strikes. But if he's beside you, here I'll put him in my. He's got me with his left. It's still a right-handed strike, but it's a cross or an opposite step. So definitely some similarities, but also some differences there.
Yeah. And that was my error. Yeah, that's what I did. I remember it now because if he has me with his left hand, that's where I erred. Now I understand it. Okay. You're exactly right. So here it's
yes. Now, the only other tip I would give on this technique, and it may not feel like an issue doing it in the air, but once you get a practice partner or a real bad guy, it'll be easy to appreciate. So I'm pulling on the wrist. I'm using my knee against his knee. Let's do the right side. You were doing his right arm. So I'm going to pull on his wrist. I'm going to use my left knee against his knee. I've got the groin grab. I want you to get your head free first.
Right.
And then I want you to create some room. So your front foot, I want you to step back a little bit before you cat around. And the reason is this. So if I'm going to do it from the side view here. Sorry for switching my clock so much. So this is now my 12. I'm in the headlock here. I'm going to pull. I've got my knee to his knee as I grab the groin. I pull the wrist and I get my head out. You can see here his leg is kind of in between both of mine. And if I'm trying to sneak around here and get into the arm bar, it can almost feel like he's behind me. And if he's big and strong, he may just put me in a limbo, right? So
okay, I understand.
What I want to do is I want to get this front leg out of the way. Now when I step around and I really come in with this arm bar, right? I've got some room to travel, and I'm not starting from back here hoping that I'm going to win the fight. So that was a long-winded answer. The short-winded answer is just after you get your head free, create some room here, get your front foot out of the way so you can really fall into that arm bar. Let's see.
I know sometimes the thought in my head is timing is not giving my opponent an opportunity to gain purchase somewhere, and that's my only concern. I have there's no evidence that would necessarily be true. I mean, if I get him here and do that to him, get myself free, I should be able to step back here. Once I'm free, arm bar him, then step up.
Well, so I want that step to happen with the arm bar. And I appreciate the point you're making. You're saying that you're already kind of close. Let's just kind of keep it close. And I think you're right. There is value in that. So you could maybe argue it both ways.
I can't prove it though. I can't prove that there would actually be that he would maybe suddenly gain an upper hand or anything. I have no proof of it. So it's maybe it's made up in my head.
Well, I don't want to discount it entirely here, but let's step through it together. So you're in the headlock, you're tucking your chin, you got a right wrist grab, you're going to step with the right and grab with the left. Now here, I want you to get your head free and stand up. Yes. And now this is where you can start to think about the arm bar. This is where I was stepping out to really fall into it because I want body
right.
Or you could leave that foot where it is and still step around. Now, yeah.
I see merit in what you're saying, though. I think you almost, as long as you got him, as long as you have control of the hand, though, dropping that right foot back clears the left. Otherwise,
yes.
You have to muscle him forward.
Right.
Okay. You have to do that for balance because otherwise you're trying to force the leg against his own body weight and you're having to muscle him forward because this leg is up against essentially his armpit here.
Exactly right. And I'm just realizing something else too, which is that his arm was bent like this around your neck. And
right.
if you're in close and you get your head free, but his arm is still bent, you've got a long way to work on that arm bar. So by taking that step, that's what's helping you get his arm out to be weak
right.
for the arm bar. If you you get your head free, but you stay close, you're kind of pushing into a bent elbow, and you may not win that fight.
Yeah. So you have to take that step back to get the arm extended into the arm bar. Then you can step forward to brace the leg, and then knee smash.
Yeah. Now, the tip that I remember, or the aha moment I remember having, is to not apply and then step, because we miss out on the marriage of gravity. But if we're applying that arm bar, it's to apply it with the step, and suddenly,
right.
He's got all your body weight on his one elbow joint. He's not going to be able to sustain that.
Okay. So he's got me here.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Okay.
I'm running out of juice in my and time as well. So all I would say is watch the video a couple more times on that. It's looking really sharp, but since I have to go here and we won't get the practice reps in, when you practice without me, just watch that video and look at the timing, the getting the leg out of the way and stepping with the arm bar.
I will.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Master.
Yep. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.